Lori here. I'm here today to do my Reading Rush reading vlog. I'm really excited to do this reading challenge. I always like to do it every single year. It's super fun, and I feel like I'm in like a community of readers, and it's just a fun day. So, I did do my Reading Rush TBR. I posted that Sunday, so all the books that I had planned are there. The books I choose might look a little bit different, just because I've been watching some TBR videos, and I always do that last minute, and then if I decide to change, I do. But I do have 7 books planned. That is the plan of attack. I am going to have an audiobook on, and I'm always going to have a physical book that I'm reading. So yeah, the first book I'm going to do for this reading vlog is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for years. I almost got trampled trying to get an ARCA BEA back when it actually came out. But yeah, so this is one that's high on my TBR, and this is for based on a movie, or inspired by a movie, I'll say, because I have seen Wonder Woman, I have seen a lot of the DC properties, and I actually did read the other books, I just never got around to reading this one. So this is the book that I'm going to start my reading with, and let's see, oops, it's a very pretty hardback. It has Wonder Woman on it, it has a nice back. This book is about 360 pages. So we will see how long this takes me. I also am going to put an audiobook on, which is, I think it's called The Thief's Daughter by Jeff Wheeler is the book that I'm going to start reading for this reading vlog. So yeah, those are my 2 reads. If you guys watch my weekly reading vlogs in the summer, I normally do some nonfiction reading, and I normally take a Skillshare class. I'm not going to do the nonfiction reading this week, because I do want to try to read 7 things, but I am going to take my Skillshare class. That's going to be the way that I start my morning every single day, and I'll kind of check in with you guys once I do that. So I'm going to go start my Skillshare class, pick one that I want to do a few lessons, come back, check in with you guys, and then I'm going to dive into Wonder Woman Warbringer. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. It's Lori here. Sorry, I have really good lighting today because it's pretty sunny out. But I do want to say that I did wind up finishing my Skillshare class. Well, part of it. It was all about creativity, which is the one I've actually wanted to take for quite a while. So I'm actually really excited about that class. And I did actually wind up reading 1 chapter in Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. I'm now on page 18. But I at least have the premise. They all kind of have different premises, all of these DC Icon books. I think my favorite was probably Nightwalker that I read by Mary Lou, which was the Batman one. But this one follows a young Wonder Woman, Diana, and she's basically in this competition to try to like beat everyone, and she's a daughter, so there's kind of more. She's the daughter, she's the princess of the Amazons, so she's kind of has like different expectations on her. But during this race, she winds up overseeing a ship crash, and she winds up rescuing the girl from that, which I think it's not good. If you find out that you rescue someone, you're kind of ostracized from your village, which is not good for the Amazons. And that's all that I've read. I read about 18 pages. I did say it's hot today, so I'm actually gonna go for a bike ride now, and then I'm probably gonna come back and just try to read all day and try to relax and just work out with my dad eventually. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. I'm also gonna start my book, the Trader's Daughter by Jeff Wheeler, which will be my audiobook for the week. So I'm gonna go do that, and when I come back, I hope to have read at least 2 more chapters of Wonder Woman. Bye, guys. Is Lori here. I'm back. It's about 11:15. I did wind up doing a bit of reading. I wound up reading about 2 chapters in The Trader's Daughter, which is the 2nd book in the King Fountain series. I'm really liking that. It definitely started off with a bang. The first book followed Owen, this political prisoner, as a little kid. I think he was like 7 or 8. This book jumps forward a bunch of years and follows Owen I think he's 17 in this book. And you kind of see him becoming a little bit more politically involved. I said this before in other of my reading vlogs. I'm not the biggest fan of battle-focused books, but I do like political intrigue. Book 1 definitely veered toward the political intrigue. I mean, he was only 8, but I'm hopeful that in subsequent books going on, we have a nice balance between political intrigue and battles. I just love Owen as a character. I'm going to be super honest. I love being in his head, and it's just great. So I did wind up reading about 2 chapters in that, and then I wound up reading about up to page 34 in Wonder Woman Warbringer. So I'm going to be a little bit honest. I don't know much about superheroes in general. I really have very, very limited knowledge. I watch the movies and I watch the TV shows. So sometimes when I go into these books, I don't really know their origin stories very, very well. I will say that I have seen Wonder Woman, the movie, but that's all that I've seen. So going into this book was a little bit of like an excitement because I don't know much about her. But basically what happened at the start of this book is she's in this race to kind of win favor with her kingdom because Diana, her mother is an Amazon. She is born of the Amazons in kind of like a different way. So she's not actually an Amazon, but her mother is an Amazon. And she was like formed through clay, I guess. A little bit confusing. I know it's like Greek inspired with the Amazons. So she always kind of has to prove herself. Always has to prove herself. And she's really determined to win this race and kind of curry favor with her people. But something happens and she winds up accidentally saving a young human girl from a shipwreck. And that action, saving this young girl, has set into course a lot of bad things. Like people are getting sick, there's earthquakes, and it's most likely because she saved this young girl. And if people find out she did this, she could be exiled. So that's all that I've read. I'm really intrigued so far. Again, I say this sometimes when I don't pick up books for years and years. Why didn't I pick this up sooner? But I'm going to go back to reading Wonder Woman Warbringer, and I'll report back when I read about 50 more pages. Bye, guys. Here I'm back. It's about 12:20. I did wind up reading up to page 50, about 50, in Wonder Woman Warbringer. I am really enjoying this one. I've always been a fan of Greek mythology. I always like quest-like books. I always like quests that kind of have like a kind of prophecy connected to it. And that's basically what this is. Basically, Diana decided to save a young girl who turns out to be a warbringer, who is basically like the descendant of Helen of Troy, I think. I could be wrong. But now she has to decide, is she going to let this young girl die so the Amazons can be a safe place again, or is she going to decide to save this young girl and kind of doom the Amazons in a lot of ways, or is she going to try to find a third option that could potentially save both but is a lot more dangerous? Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what happens. Like I'm very intrigued. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna go get some lunch. I'm gonna play a little bit of Animal Crossing while I have a little bit of time, and then I'm just gonna dive back into Warbringer. So once I read a little bit more of Warbringer, I'll update you guys. But right now I did get up to page 50. So talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, Laura here. I am back. I did wind up reading about 100 pages in Wonder Woman Warbringer. So right now my stats are 130 pages. I'm still really enjoying this book. This book definitely took an unexpected twist, and as a New Yorker, I'm loving the setting that we're in. I always love when like fantasy characters or like superheroes have to engage with like the modern world, because I always think it's like super fun to like see their interaction, and then you kind of see like the normal humans being like, this is just normal. But I really like the dynamics. I like the choices that Diana is making, especially because I think it would have been really easy for her to just let Alina die and just kind of let her world go back to normal. But yeah, I read about 100 pages. I'm gonna go try to sit outside. It's been really, really hot, but I do want to sit outside for a little bit more. But I will report back when I read about another 50 pages of this, because I'm really intrigued. I'm really liking it. I know that I did get the graphic novel of it, so after this I might actually pick up the graphic novel and kind of compare and contrast. I also love that Alina is like an African American woman, and I love their dynamics as well, because it's not a relationship that I've often seen in DC properties, like female friendships. Normally it's a one woman with a bunch of dudes, but I like that there is really a strong female component. And I just like Diana as a character. I like how Leigh Bardugo writes her. I think she really humanizes her. And I just like the plot. And I love that we still do have like an adventure quest happening with a prophecy and that type of element, because it always keeps a book very, very fast paced, and one that I really, really enjoy. It tends to remind me of I'm reading Rick Riordan's writing. So I'm going to go read a little bit more if I can outside, and if not, I'll update you guys when I read about 50 more pages or if anything super exciting happens. Lori here. I finally found some good lighting. This is exciting for you. But I did wind up getting up to page about 150 in Wonder Woman Warbringer. Still really, really liking it. It's definitely a fast-paced read. Definitely has a lot of mythological tie-ins. I also like how it not only is a story about Diana, but also really a story about Alina. You're getting a lot about Alina's past and how you can see how she has like how her life has kind of progressed to this moment. Her family's history reminds me a lot of Bruce Wayne, like with the corporation and stuff like that. But I also do like how they do have a lot of conversations about Alina as a black teenager in New York City and how she's treated as such. I still do really like Diana's dynamics with like Alina, but also her brother now that our kind of our circle is getting a little bit bigger. I'm just really curious like where this book is gonna go. I'm very intrigued. And yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm probably gonna work out, do a quick workout after I eat. But then I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Lori here. I'm back. I did wind up reading to page 200 in Wonder Woman Warbringer. I'm still really liking this book. I've said this before. I tend to like fantasy novels and like superhero novels, like when they have like a large cast of characters, so they have a lot of people to play off of. And I like how this book steadily and surely has been adding characters to its mix. I really am liking the dynamics between the characters. I said that one character in this one family reminds me a lot of Bruce Wayne, which that was probably my favorite book out of the DC Icon series so far. I'm really liking that. I'm loving the dynamics between the characters. I love Aaliyah as a character. I think she's great. I think that what Leigh Bardugo did so well was build up her role as a potential warbringer and what that means, but she did it in not an info dumpy type of way. And I just really like the characters. I think that there's a lot of diversity in here as well, which I'm really enjoying. And you definitely see Diana in kind of a very, very different situation than she's ever been in before. And you also have Diana who doesn't think she's as confident as she needs to be, and she's kind of dealing with a lot of stuff. So I really like that you're both in Aaliyah and in Diana's head, because I think there are two very different characters that are dealing with very, very similar things, I think, in regards to like personal journeys. Really liking it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm going to work out for a little bit. I have to do some like quick workouts. And then I'm probably gonna come back and I'm probably gonna watch a couple of my reading vlogs that I have been putting off, and Unsolved Mysteries, which is probably going to be what I'm going to watch all week, because I do want to get a lot of reading done, so I'm probably going to focus on the book content and Unsolved Mysteries, which is on Peacock right now, because I have 24 seasons, and it's just fun background noise. So yeah, I will report back when I read another 50 pages on this. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey, it's just checking back in. It's almost 8 o'clock, and I did wind up getting up to page 225 in Wonder Woman Warbringer. This book is so exciting. Like, it's very much like an action movie. There's a lot of like moving pieces, and their group keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. There is a lot of action scenes, and I sometimes lose my details. I'll be a little bit honest. But other than that, I'm really, really liking it. I've always loved Leigh Bardugo's writing style, like a lot. Still the same. I'm curious if there's going to be any romantic entanglement developments, because there's a couple of pairings that I have my eye on. But yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of an Animal Crossing break, and then I'm probably going to dive back into Unsolved Mysteries. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm back. It is about 8:10 in the morning, and I just did want to recap the pages that I wound up reading yesterday, because I always forget to do it in these vlogs, and then I never have a rec, but I recommend like a recording of it. But let me see. Yesterday, between the two books that I read, I wound up reading 251 pages, which I think would have been a lot higher if I would have done a lot more walking outside, and I would have got a lot more listening done. But I didn't because it was so hot. But before I started this, I did wind up reading up to page 254 in Wonder Woman Warbringer. Still really enjoying it. I'm loving that it has more of a god, like Greek god element to it. I'm really liking that half of the story. I like that our group of characters has kind of expanded. I love it that this book has traversed at least 3 locations. I always like that in reads. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to go do my Skillshare class, and then I am actually going to go to yoga today, which means that I will probably be listening to a lot more. I do really want to catch up on my Avatar podcast, so I might actually start the day listening to that because I have 2 episodes I have to listen to, because I do want to finish season 2 of Avatar this week as well, which is like something that I do have planned. So I'm gonna go do my Skillshare class, and then I'll update you guys before I head out. Bye guys. I'm back. I did wind up going to my yoga class, and I did wind up listening to a lot of my podcasts. I didn't get a lot of reading done, I'll be very, very honest. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go for a bike ride, pop in my audiobook, which I'm really enjoying, but I didn't get to read a lot yesterday, and hopefully dive in and finish a majority of Wonder Woman Warbringer, and then we'll come back, and we'll check in. Well, I'll check in with you. Sorry. But I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, because I really, didn't read a lot. We kind of dived a little bit more into where they are currently. But I didn't read a lot, enough to, have a different opinion from the last point I read. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll check in with you guys. Okay, I'm back. It's about 3:08. I haven't updated a lot today just because I've been a little bit busy, but I went up reading quite a bit more of Wonder Woman Warbringer. I'm now on page 326. I'm definitely gonna sit down and kind of tackle the rest of it. Definitely took, an unexpected twist that I wasn't necessarily expecting. But I feel like if you're, at least a little bit familiar with, Greek history, then it kind of wasn't that big of a shock. But I really am liking it. I'm very intrigued to see how this book wraps up. I really like the dynamics of the characters. I really like, I think it's an interesting story. I'll talk about the end, what this book is and what this book isn't, because I think all the DC Icon books have kind of fit into, a certain, niche. But yeah, so I'm going to go and complete this, and then I'll check in with you guys. Bye! Here I'm back. It's about 4:30, and I did want to actually finishing Wonder Woman Warbringer. So today, if I don't count my The Thief's Daughter page count, which I'll probably count at the end of today because I have to calculate it, I did wind up reading at least, let me see if I can look this so I can look. I wound up reading at least 132 pages. So I actually wound up liking this book. It definitely was not what I necessarily expected for Wonder Woman Warbringer, but I found it to be a really interesting concept. I will say what this book is and what this book isn't. What this book is it definitely an adventure story. It's very, very inspired by Greek mythology. There's a quest element. There's a prophecy. There's a cast of characters. There's a couple of different locations. What I will say is this book is not about Diana growing up specifically or only in the Mascara, wherever she grew up. That's not what this book is. You do see that location, but it's not the primary focus. There is a lot of, traveling in this book. I like Greek mythology, and I like Greek gods and stuff, so I found that part of it super interesting. I found the Warbringer part really interesting. I'd wind up giving this 4 stars. I still think Batman Nightwalker might be my favorite, but this one is a close second. I think I definitely like it more than Catwoman. So this was my first read of the readathon. Now I'm gonna pick up The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This will fulfill the prompt of read a book that starts with the. And yeah, it's not that long, and I'm excited to kind of tackle a quicker read. So that's what I'm gonna go do, and I'll report back when I make a little bit of progress. I normally read their books super fast, so hopefully I like it. I know that this one has to do with a reality TV couple that flips houses, and it's kind of a dual romance book because there's the plotline of their assistants and then the couple that is falling out of love and is on a book tour, but they're about to get a divorce, but no one knows that. So I hope that I like this, and I'll report back when I start reading. Bye! Here I'm back. I did wind up moving inside because the bug started biting, but I did wind up getting up to page 33 in The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. It basically is what I thought, but there is a kind of mystery element because there's transcripts from the police at the start of the book, so something happened that kind of ends this book. But basically these 2 fix-it couples is kind of preparing to go on a book tour, and some secrets are revealed right before the book tour starts that show that their marriage really isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And you follow 2 characters. You follow Carrie and James, and they're kind of the assistants for this couple. So you follow Carrie. That's the point of view that I read the most of recently, and she's kind of been working for the trip since she's been 19. They're kind of like a second family for her, and she's the assistant for Melanie. And she finds out some upsetting information about Rusty as this book starts, and then James kind of gets involved, and that's kind of all that I've read so far. But it's such a quick read. I very much right now the relationship between Carrie and James is very much love to hate, I'm about to start a James chapter, but I do want to play a little bit of Animal Crossing, so I'm going to go do that, and then I'll check in with you guys. Bye. Sorry here, just checking back in. I'm definitely reading this book faster than my last one. But I did get up to page 50 in The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. But basically, it's basically the premise that I said. So basically, this reality TV show couple, their marriage is basically a disaster. And their two assistants were planning on having a week off, but because of all the drama, they have to now join them on their book tour and try to save them from publicly imploding. And there's like and you do get both characters' point of view. You do get Carrie and James's point of view, but it does focus a lot on the relationship of Mel and Rusty, who are like the fix-it couple. But I do like both characters' point of view. I think they're very interesting. I think Carrie's point of view is a little bit more like compelling for me because she is really invested in this couple, and James is just trying to survive day to day. But it's a very, very fast read. I really like reading about the backside of reality TV shows. I always find them super fascinating. So I'm going to go read about 50 more pages, and then I'll probably check in with you guys unless I feel like I need to check in with you guys sooner. But yeah, this book is not even, I think this book is like a little bit over 300 pages. So, yeah, I am going to go keep reading, and I'll report back when I can. Bye. Here, I'm back. Last night I did wind up watching a couple of episodes of Avatar, but I also did make a bit of progress on The Honey Don't List. I'm now on page 80. It's definitely a faster paced read. I could definitely spy that I'm actually curious. I'm very curious about this read. You could definitely tell could be a love to hate romance, but I'm really intrigued in the second couple, like the main couple of the book. Also there's some drama with Carrie's work, like she's having a hard time drawing. That's basically what she does. But I also like that their dynamics. I love that this book is split point of view. That's one thing I'm really, really liking. I think that like the behind the scenes of a book tour is super interesting. And then like every couple of chapters there's like an interview or something that kind of gives you an outsized perspectives on this couple, which I always find super interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of like 10 minutes. I'm gonna finish one of my Skillshare classes, and then I'm probably gonna go for a bike ride because it's been so hot. My Fitbit also died, which sucks because I can't track anything today, which is annoying. But I'm going to at least try to finish some books today. Yesterday was like not the best day for reading because I was out of the house a lot. So yeah, I'm hopeful that today I will make quite a bit of progress. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll check in when I come back from my bike ride. Hopefully, I will have read a little bit of the Trader's Daughter and a little bit of The Honey Don't List. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. I'm back. I'm just sitting outside because we're getting a bunch of work done on the house. But I did want to say that I did wind up getting up to page 156 in The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. About 50% done with this book. This book is definitely not what I necessarily expected. There's a lot of drama going on with Carrie in this book, and she's basically, she's being treated very, very unfairly. I do like the romance that's developing between Carrie and James. I think it's super fun. I like all the behind-the-scenes stuff for a book tour, and like the behind-the-scene reality TV show stuff that's happening. I think it's a very, very fun read. I also like that we are getting excerpts from like various publications or from the book that they're writing. But the people that they work for, that couple, is like so like toxic, both for the people that they work with and each other. So that's kind of an interesting point of view. So I'm curious if that relationship is going to get any better, and if Carrie is going to get any praise for what she's actually doing, because right now it seems a little bit unfair to me. But I do like James a lot. I do like Carrie. I like that we're getting both of their point of view. So I'm going to try and go back and read. I'm going to try to finish this before I head to town, because I have to go to the library, pick up a few library books that I want or that I put on hold. So I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Also, I did wind up reading about 2 to 3 chapters in The Thief's Daughter by Jeff Wheeler. It's definitely remaining very, very political, and there's a new threat. In the first book, the king's son or the king's nephews were thought to be killed, and now someone is saying that they are the king's nephews, so there might be like a coup upcoming for that. But I love books that are politically driven and less focused on battles and stuff, so I'm really liking that book. I like book 1, I'm really, really liking book 2. So I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll report back when I make a little bit of progress, or when I'm done. It just depends. This book is just over 300 pages, so I'll try to read about 50 more pages. I'll try to get up to page 200, and then I'll update you guys. Okay. Hey guys, Laura here, just checking back in. I did wind up reading about page 200 in The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. It's getting a lot more interesting, like the behind the scenes stuff. Definitely romance is not the heart of this story, at least not the point of view characters. Like their romance is not that point of the story. I'm really liking the HGTV side of it. I think that is probably the most interesting. I think the romance is definitely not the focus. But we really do have the development of like two romances. We have like the HGTV couple that we don't get their point of views, but then we also have their assistants that we do get their point of views, and they're the romance that we're kind of following. But again, this book is more about a lot more than just the romance between these two characters, and I tend to like books like that. But I also like books about like reality TV shows and like the entertainment industry because I always find them like super interesting. This is kind of an interesting take. I'm really liking Carrie's point of view, and I think James is bringing up some very very good points that I don't think Carrie necessarily wants to face. So I think I'm gonna go for a bike ride. We're getting a lot of work done on our house, so it's hard to like. I don't really like sit outside in like the sunshine, but can't do that right now. So I'm gonna go for a bike ride, read a little bit more of The Thief's Daughter by Jeff Wheeler, and then I'm gonna walk to town and see if I can probably tackle the rest of the Honey Don't List. So yeah, that's my plan. I'll check in with you guys when I come back home. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back. It's about 3:19. I did wind up running up to town. I picked up a few library books, which I think is going to change my TBR just a little bit because I don't think I'm going to be able to finish The Trader's Daughter, which is my audiobook, by Sunday. So I think I might change up my TBR a little bit just because I'm being more likely to finish books by Sunday, because that audiobook's a little bit long and I'm not getting a lot of listening time because of how hot it's been. But I do want to say that I get up to page 254 in The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I'm expecting something to pop. Like I'm expecting the climax to happen, and I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna like it. Like the drama that's gonna come with that. But I am really liking this book. I think I'm liking everything. The romance is definitely a less of a plot point. In this book, they definitely got together earlier than I necessarily expected in this read, but I still really am liking it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna play a little bit of Animal Crossing because if I did it right, my third level of my island is ready and I want to go explore a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna come back and try to tackle the rest of the Honey Don't List. I only have like 50 more pages left, which will be a quick read. Yeah, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll check in with you guys when I start to read again. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. Sorry, weird angle. But I did wind up finishing The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I wound up completing it. I wound up liking this book. I definitely like this book a bit more than the previous books I've read them. Like, I would rate this above Josh and Hazel's Guide to Dating and The Roomie, but I would rate it lower than The Unhoneymooners. I'd give this like 3.75 stars. I found the characters to be super fun. I liked that this book, the romance, was definitely second fiddle to a lot of the things. I liked it. I love the HGTV elements. I thought the ending was a little bit rushed, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. Sorry I sound a little bit hoarse. I was talking on the phone for a while today with a bunch of people from work trying to figure out what September's going to bring. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to try to figure out what I want to read next because I did wind up changing up my TBR a little bit. And I want to work out because it's been hot, as I keep saying in this reading vlog. It's very, very hot here in New York. And I do have to clean a little bit. So I'm going to go do that, figure out what I'm reading, kind of update all my stats on Goodreads, figure out how many pages I've read, but I'll count this on. This is my second read for this readathon, and I'm already done with it. So the next two reads are going to be a little bit on the quicker side, I think, so hopefully I can still do my 7 books in 1 week. It's a goal. We'll see if it happens, but I'll update you guys when I actually get back to reading. Bye! Here, I'm back. It's almost 7:30. I do want to start Witchy. I don't know if I'm going to finish it because I do want to watch League of Your Own tonight, which is a podcast that I follow. They watched Pitch earlier this year, and now they're doing the movie so they can move on to another round. So I do actually want to probably watch the movie so I can listen to the episode soon. But I am going to start Witchy. It's only like 300 pages, so I might actually finish it, but I'm gonna watch a couple of videos in the interim and just kind of as background noise. But yeah, this is a graphic novel I got from Owl Crate, and it's a witch kingdom where the strength of your magic is determined by the length of your hair. That's all that I know. So I'm gonna go dive in and start it, and I'll report back if I decide to stop midway through. I might just try to power through and finish it, but we will see. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back. I did want to bring 150 pages of Witchy. It's such a sweet book. It has a lot of diversity in it. I like all the characters. I think the art style is very, very fun. It reminds me a lot of Princess and the Dressmaker. But it's definitely a witchy themed novel, and I love that it focuses on like conscripting and magic. But yeah, it's quite fun. I think I'm probably gonna tackle the rest of this tomorrow. Because I did actually read a whole, like, practically a whole book today, so I'm gonna go update my pages on Goodreads and on the Reading Rush website because I always forget to do that. And then I'll check in with you guys tomorrow in the morning. Tomorrow in the morning, I am going to a yoga class, so I'll probably check in like much later. But I do hope to finish this tomorrow and start Arlo Finch tomorrow. So those are my plans. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Guys, Lori here. I'm back. It's about 8:59 on July 23rd, which is the third day of Reading Rush. I don't know, maybe no. It's the fourth day of Reading Rush because it's Thursday. What I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to finish reading Witchy because it's not that long, and then I think I'm probably gonna split this reading blog into two parts because I think it's gonna get like over 2 hours, and I don't want a reading blog that long. So what I'm gonna do is I just worked out, and I am disgusting because it was a very, very hard workout. So I think I'm just gonna relax, watch some stuff, read this, and then I'm probably gonna go for a bike ride while it's still nice out because it's really, really hot. It gets really, really hot over here. So I'm gonna go do that. I think I'm gonna tackle the rest of Witchy, and then I'll come and check in with you guys, and then I'm probably gonna wrap up this reading blog because I don't want it to get too long. But yeah, and then I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts. So far, I'm really enjoying this. I'm finding it super cute. It's very reminiscent of the art styles I've read in like Princess and the Dressmaker and Mooncakes. I like the magic system a lot. I'm excited to see where it goes. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll report back when I'm done. Bye. Lori here. I'm actually here to wrap up this part of my reading rush. I normally do like a whole week, but I just think I'm gonna have a little bit too much content because last time I did reading rush, I wasn't home for half of it. So I'm gonna wrap up the first 3 days of this reading. I'm gonna count a little bit of today, but I'm mostly gonna film today in my next reading vlog. So far I did read 3 books for my challenge, and I've read it overall, I think, not including Witchy, which I'll count to like in my next update. So far I read let's see, I read 832 pages, which is not including Witchy. But I did wind up reading Wonder Woman Warbringer, which was read a book based on a movie that you've seen. I kind of cheated a little bit, but I have seen the Wonder Woman movie. It's not like based on it, but it's based on a character. This is the first DC Icon book that ever were released, and I really have been being good at reading the other ones. This is the first one. I wound up liking it. I thought it was a very interesting take on Diana as like a young kid. I like the adventure. I love the quest element. I love the focus on mythology, and I wound up giving this book 3 stars. The next book that I wound up reading, what for the prompt book that starts with a "the" is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This was another super fun contemporary, basically following 2 assistants as they're trying to make sure that their bosses who are married don't totally implode their book tour because they are not getting along. I like that it was dual point of view. I like seeing behind the scenes of like a TV show. I like behind the scenes of a book tour. I thought the romance was like not the main part of this book, but I did like it. I wound up giving it 3.75 stars. And then the next book that I wound up picking up, which is the last one, is Witchy by Ariel Samel Riaz. This is a graphic novel I got from Owl Crate. I think it was like 2 months ago. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought it was like a cute magic system. I like the quest element. I definitely hope we're going to get another one. I like that the magic system was basically based on the length of your hair. There was a quest element. I thought it was fun. I wound up giving this one 4 stars. So I'm going to go start my next part of this reading vlog. And I hope you guys are liking it. Let me know in the comments what some books you have read so far. And I will talk to you guys for my second part of my reading vlog. Bye, guys.